I know you hear this all the time, but knowledge truly is power, and knowing the right health information is essential no matter what your health concerns may be. So to answer some of your health questions today, we're doing a double dose of Ask the Doctors with the help of my good friend, Dr. Freda Lewis-Hall, Pfizer's Chief Medical Officer. So welcome. So glad you're here.
Always a pleasure.
So our first question is from Susan in the audience. So Susan, what's your question?
I've been hearing an awful lot about clinical trials in the news. What are they?
A clinical trial is a research study that's designed to explore new medical interventions. It can be surgery, a medicine, a device, or something else. And it looks at whether or not it is safe and effective in people. We learn so much from clinical trials on medicines, for example. What are the benefits of them? What are the risks of them? What's the best way to use them? And we also generate evidence from these clinical trials that the FDA can then use to help them make a decision about whether or not to approve a treatment for use.
Why should I volunteer for a clinical trial?
There are many regulations that govern clinical trials. It can help you be more involved in your own health care, or because you may get access to a treatment earlier.
Yeah, but are there risks being involved in a clinical trial?
And when you go to enroll in a clinical trial, you'll be explained, this is what's going to happen, here are the potential risks, and you'll be asked to sign an informed consent. You can continue to ask questions, and you are free to stop your participation at any time and for any reason.
Who are the best candidates to do this? How do they get involved?
At universities, at hospitals, in community clinics, at doctors' offices. And people of all kinds are asked to participate in clinical trials. People of all ages, and of course, people of all racial and ethnic backgrounds.
All right, well, thanks for your question. That's a good question. Okay.
Great question.
Next, we have a video from Nancy in Los Angeles. Let's take a look at her question.
Hi. My question is, when I go to the pharmacist to drop off my prescriptions, the pharmacist often asks, do you want the generic version? And I hesitate. What exactly does the generic version of a drug mean?
All right, common question. What's the scoop?
The easy way to answer it would be a generic is a copy of a brand name medicine. Now, the active ingredient can be identical, or it can be what we call bioequivalent, which means that it acts the same as the brand name drug in the body. People should know that the FDA has to approve generic medicines. Then they work with the manufacturers to ensure that strict standards are met around strength, quality, purity, and potency.
Are there differences we should be aware of?
There are differences that are allowed when you get a generic, like the color, the packaging, and the labeling. But these differences should not create a difference in the way they work or in their safety. Now, inactive ingredients in generics can be different as well. These would be things like flavorings or preservatives. And there are some medicines that require close monitoring when you take them.
So are all medications available as generics?
No, but in the United States, about nearly 80% of prescriptions are filled with generics. Talk to your doctor about whether or not switching from a brand name medicine to a generic is right for you.
Next, we have an email from Tim in Nashville, Tennessee. He writes, "Hi, doctors. As a busy working husband and father, I prefer to do my shopping online. I was wondering, is it safe to buy medicine off the web?"
The internet can be a safe and convenient place to buy your medicines, but you need to know that there's some rogue websites out there that may look legitimate, but they're actually illegally selling dangerous or counterfeit medicines that have not been checked for safety or effectiveness. So there are some red flags. First of all, if this site offers to sell you prescription drugs without a prescription or doesn't ask for it, that is illegal. If it doesn't have a phone number that's published, look out. Also, if it offers prices that are dramatically different from other sites or where you usually get your medicine, that's a lookout. And of course, if it suggests, so you go to the site for one medicine and they suggest you do another medicine, that's also a red flag. There's also an organization, the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy. They have a website, nabp.net, that has a list of online pharmacies that you can trust, and they have a seal, kind of a seal of approval, that you will find on websites that tell you that website has met state licensure requirements and other safety needs.
Well, Tim, thank you for your question. If someone wants even more information, they should definitely check out your website, which is gethealthystayhealthy.com, right?
Yes, and we have links to some of the websites that I mentioned. And of course, while you're there, you can sign up for the Get Healthy, Stay Healthy newsletter so that health information comes straight to you.
I love gethealthystayhealthy.com. Robin and I spend a lot of time there. So I want to thank my guest today, especially Dr. Freda Lewis-Hall.